There have. I hope that they have been fun pranks. I'm always worried on these April Fool's Day. I'll be back in a bit with Across Canada, but first we're going to take a look at your local forecast in detail, which will include the latest conditions for your area. Take two. Let me start that one again. International forecasts for major cities in Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, South America, and I may have forgotten some other area, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's start with a satellite view. And a system has been moving across the southern parts of Europe into the Mediterranean, but a ridge is the dominant feature in the British Isles. However, it's chilly. Temperatures about 7 degrees below normal in places like London, Dublin, Amsterdam, Brussels, and Paris. However, it will be mainly sunny on Tuesday. That ridge extends through Scandinavia and Germany. The system in the central parts of continental Europe will bring some cloud into Warsaw, already giving cloud to Kiev, but Moscow is looking at sunshine. Over to the Pacific Rim, and we have this band of cloud that will be affecting the weather mainly in Tokyo, a ridge from Manila over to South Asia, and for the Australian destinations, well, let's take a look at the forecast and see what those areas of cloud will be doing in the next 24 hours. Tomorrow it'll be mainly sunny from Delhi to Manila. Manila will be getting some scattered showers, but not much there. Clear skies in Singapore. In Tokyo, as we saw earlier with that system, partly cloudy, chance of some scattered showers. That thing will be out of Seoul tonight, so sunny tomorrow. Beijing is looking at clear skies and 12 degrees. 20 is a little cool for Hong Kong, and it's going to be quite cloudy. And did we forget that? Yes, we did. I plumb forgot. I apologize. Listen, really, it's it's spring programming, and I almost completely forgot about the south of Europe, because I know that Angelo Grippo and Dominic DeVito want to go to Nice because it's so nice, and they were quite worried that we weren't going to get the forecast. Okay, guys, 17 degrees, no problem. Variable skies in Madrid and Lisbon, and over in Athens, quite nice. It's sunny and 15 degrees today, and about the same tomorrow. Partly cloudy with scattered showers in Rome, but the system that's going to be moving into Warsaw that we saw earlier will be giving some rain to Budapest. North Africa, sunny in Dakar, partly cloudy with a chance of scattered showers in Casablanca and Algiers. Mainly clear skies, though, for Tunis, and that ridge will extend as far as Cairo and Tel Aviv.
The Weather Network presents the Claritin Pollen Forecast. Round-the-clock help for allergy sufferers.
This allergy advisor is brought to you by Claritin. If you suffer from allergies but aren't sure which plants are causing them, try choosing non-allergenic plants. Ask your local garden specialists for details. Now here's your Claritin Pollen Forecast.
The column on the left indicates the forecast pollen level for your area. The legend on the right shows whether these levels are low, moderate, or high. Please note that persons extremely allergic to pollen can be affected even at a low index reading. Across Canada, pollen samples are rushed to us daily by Priority Courier, the courier you can count on for fast, reliable, guaranteed delivery of your documents and parcels.
You're watching the Weather Network, covering weather and environmental issues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, exclusively on cable.
Good morning, Canada. Oh, the exception is Newfoundland. It's now 15 seconds after noon, so bring on the grub. It's DuBois with you on Canada's Weather Network for this Monday, April the 1st. I'll be back in just a little bit with Across Canada, but first we're going to take a look at your detailed, and we do mean your detailed, local forecast, which will include the latest conditions for your area. All of that right here on the Weather Network. back with Across Canada, and we'll start with our satellite view of the entire nation before we move forward, and a shot of the two major weather makers. This area of cloud is a couple of frontal zones that extend from the BC coast to northern California, and we have a front, a rather weak one, moving out of eastern parts of Ontario through southern Quebec. It's associated with this area of rain that's affecting mainly places like Pennsylvania and will be affecting Washington and New York. Look at the satellite of our latest imagery with, of course, isobars and frontal zones and that sort of thing. And you can see that, indeed, the winds are strongest in extreme western Canada, particularly through Alberta. The circulation around a frontal zone is counterclockwise, so that brings southeasterly winds moderate to strong in Alberta, and that's, of course, going to reduce visibilities. Near high pressure, the winds are always lighter, so it drops down quite a bit once you get into Manitoba and through northwestern sections of Ontario, almost dead calm in parts of the northwest. A little bit of wind behind this system here, but you can see the gradient is much looser, so not nearly as strong as what we have in Alberta, and it has been weakening. This low here is pulling in a lot of moisture, so that's why it's quite rainy in this part of the United States, to the mid-Atlantic states. And the winds currently through the extreme western parts of, well, extreme, through southwestern sections of Saskatchewan through Alberta are mainly southeasterly. And behind that cold front, you can see the northerly winds dropping into the Great Lakes. So that's going to give the air mass a cooler texture, but the air mass temperatures will remain near seasonal in southern Ontario and southern Quebec, even though we're going to get a shift in the wind. And just ahead of it, with the counterclockwise circulation, of course, easterly winds pumping that moisture into the New England coast. Now, what else do we have? Oh, yes, the old heavy rainfall warning. Don't forget how sound. 40 to 60 millimeters of rain today and again tonight. About 20 millimeters of rain expected in the Vancouver, Victoria area. Lesser amounts once you get through the interior. More like scattered showers once you get over towards the Kootenays, or even some wet snow up around Revelstoke. Grand Prairie and Edson have a weather advisory issued. 4 to 8 centimeters of snow, 8 in the upper elevations. And with the winds, of course, it's going to blow it around and reduce visibilities. Calgary's already picked up 12 centimeters, by the way.
I have a confession. I don't like exercising, but I love the walk fit from Nordic Track. My time on the walk fit's my special time. My time to relax, clear my mind, and daydream. Mount Fuji, what an inspiration.
Call the toll-free number today.
You can walk the world over and never find a more natural way to exercise. Or looks better in a new swimsuit.
It's the Continental, and we'll start with the jet stream, which travels from north-central sections of British Columbia right down into the American Midwest, making its way around the Great Lakes, traveling through the St. Lawrence River Valley on its way to Newfoundland. And, of course, it makes that dip because of the cool air that extends from the Northwest Territories through Manitoba into the Central Great Lakes. Pretty chilly in Manitoba, more like cool air seeping into the northeastern sections of Ontario. Temperatures are near seasonal in most of Atlantic Canada, and not too far off the mark in southwestern BC. But this afternoon we're looking at rain that will extend from the Queen Charlottes right down the coast of Washington and Oregon into California, and over towards the Kootenays, Columbia districts into the interior British Columbia. It'll be more like some wet snow. Well, actually, once you get into Fort St. John, it'll be scattered flurries. From the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border through Lake Superior, mainly clear skies, but rather chilly. And southern Ontario will remain cloudy with a chance of some scattered flurries behind this front, which will travel across southern Quebec this afternoon. East of that, a ridge will give clear skies to the Maritimes. Along the eastern seaboard, the low associated with this scenario through the southern Great Lakes is going to spread rain from the coast of Florida right up into Washington, so rather wet there. But east of it, we have a ridge that will extend from Texas all the way to southern California. Tonight, that ridge will hold up from southern California to northern Florida, mainly clear skies, but the rain will continue to move up the eastern seaboard, so look for some rain to move into Boston and New York. Meanwhile, some showers or wet snow in the eastern counties of Ontario and southern Quebec. Clear in northwestern Ontario, pretty fair weather for Manitoba. But in western Canada, we're looking at rain again from the coast of BC through the interior. It should begin to become more like scattered showers sometime through the night or tomorrow morning. And if you're traveling south out of Alberta and Saskatchewan, keep in mind that there's a band of freezing rain forecast through Montana and the Dakotas. So drive carefully if you must head that way later tonight. Now let's take a look at the temperatures. Near 12 degrees around Vancouver and Victoria. And the rest of the country is going to be cool. Well, especially in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. These are about 5 or 6 degrees off the seasonal average, but more seasonal from southern Ontario into most of Atlantic Canada. Well, the regional forecast, and there is an excellent chance that you're going to get wet this afternoon in central and southern BC. Now, if you like being wet, that of course is no problem, but right up there at 90, possibly 100%, and especially up around Howe Sound, 40 to 60 millimeters of rain. The wind's a bit gusty at times in the interior, northerly at up to 25 kilometers per hour in Prince George, with mixed precipitation there. And the temperatures near seasonal from the interior to the southwest coast. So we're looking at some light snow around Edmonton, scattered flurries in Calgary, where you've already picked up about 12 centimeters of snow. But 4 to 8 is expected from Grand Prairie into Edson. And with these winds up to 40 kilometers per hour, it's going to reduce visibilities in parts of central and southern Alberta. In Saskatchewan, look for mainly cloudy conditions by late this afternoon, mainly cloudy with a good chance of some flurries in Regina, and cool. These temperatures are about 5 to 7 degrees off the seasonal norm, incidentally. In southern Manitoba, mainly sunny in Winnipeg, light winds, no chance of precipitation, but cool, -4. A little more seasonal in Thunder Bay with 0, but the winds will be northwesterly at 20 kilometers per hour. In southern Ontario, mainly cloudy this afternoon with north-northwesterly winds. Moderate at times, especially winds are up to 35 kilometers per hour, so that's going to make it feel even chillier. This 5 is about 3 degrees below normal. In the northeast of Ontario, mainly clear skies. The exception here is Timmins, partly cloudy with the northwesterly winds. Southern Ontario, we'll see, or eastern counties of Ontario, will see variable skies in the Ottawa area. In Montreal and through the eastern townships with that weak front, some wet snow this afternoon, but the temperatures near or slightly above seasonal at about 6 degrees. The winds will begin to shift through the afternoon. And for central Ontario, from Collingwood down into Hamilton, then on to Toronto and Kingston, variable to gradual clearing. 5 isn't too far off the seasonal norm in Toronto, but brisk northerly winds at about 35 kilometers per hour. In Atlantic Canada, it's fair weather and pleasant temperatures compared to the rest of the country, with the exception of BC, of course, near seasonal there. And this is above the seasonal average, 6 to 8 degrees from Charlottetown down into Fredericton and Halifax. St. John's looks kind of cloudy today.
This local forecast is brought to you by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. These security tips are brought to you by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
The official word from police forces across Canada is never leave the safety of your car if it breaks down. That's why a cellular phone makes perfect sense. It's an insurance policy that makes it easy to contact help. Cellular phones are compact and easy to carry in your pocket or purse. For more information, call 1-800-661-2390 for your free security brochure.
Not too much in the way of major storms as we look down the road, but we do have a considerable amount of cloud that will extend from BC to western sections of Manitoba tomorrow with a chance of light snow in central and southern Saskatchewan. A ridge is about to move into the coast of BC. That'll be a bit of a respite before more rain comes in for the second half of the week, as we'll see shortly. Fair weather for Ottawa and Montreal. A little bit of cloud will come back into southern Ontario from this system that will sprawl across the lower Great Lakes. And with a cold front sweeping across the Maritimes and the system moving up the eastern seaboard, mainly cloudy in the Maritimes tomorrow with some showers, light rain, or wet snow, the whole kit and caboodle there. Oh, another one comes into the northwest of the United States. That means another round of showers heading for southwestern BC on Wednesday, but a ridge will stretch from southeastern BC all the way to southern Saskatchewan. This trough is going to give some scattered flurries to central and southern Manitoba on Wednesday, but just east of there, high pressure travels through most of northern Ontario, will ridge into the Ottawa Valley in southern Quebec. but this thing continues to hang in there. In fact, it's going to dig in on Thursday, pick up a little moisture off the eastern seaboard, and continue to pump cloud and wet snow back into southwestern Ontario. And some of that cloud will make its way into the Ottawa Valley in southern Quebec. And with this scenario, this one here and that one up there, what you got is mainly cloudy in most of Atlantic Canada. In fact, the rest of the country is looking quite cloudy as well. Variable and chilly in Manitoba. Warm air will begin to move into Alberta and Saskatchewan as you enjoy this warm sector, but this will also give rain to most of central and southern BC Thursday into Friday. Let's take a look at detailed outlooks for your area, which will include the temperatures and chances of precipitation.